Yep, you're all good.
Alright, welcome to... This is the 5th game I'm playing for this in the past 24 hours. Welcome to Deltarune. Deltarune is a spiritual successor to Undertale that takes place in an alternate universe. It plays fairly similarly, but there's going to be some differences. Also, the setting is very different. And a lot of it's really hard to explain without the context of seeing it happen in the game, much as normal playthroughs of this game and Undertale are. So I'm just gonna get started. While I'm trying to fix my chair, I should mention that Japanese is a little bit faster, because there's a few scenarios where dialogue will stay on screen dependent on the amount of characters, and Japanese has less in those situations. So, alright, with that, I'm gonna get started in 3, 2, 1, go! So, the first thing you see here is text like this that, again, scrolls based on the length of the text. But then once we get to this point, you get to hear the best thing that I always do in every game ever. We get in that nice little mashing rhythm. What I'm doing here is, if I'm holding down either Shift or X while spamming Z and Enter, that is the fastest way to go through text. Here I need to do this menuing right. I get extra dialogue if I make the same name for both of the dialogue selectors, for both of like the name boxes. So that's why I kind of did something different on both of the times I was naming them. But we get out of our little character creation, and the character creation didn't matter, which is good, because I did not want to have to use the bald face while playing a speedrun. Bald is not my type, I'm sorry. If I'm there's a big distinction in this game, actually, between what is called True Reset and New Game Plus. If you're playing on New Game Plus, it means you've beaten the game on that fresh kind of version of the game. So you get the file select at the beginning, and you can also sleep in that bed to skip the entire prologue sequence in the light world and wake up straight in the dark world. That item you saw there that I picked up is called the Wrist Protector. You have to get to this point of the game within the first 8 minutes of the game being booted up in order to collect that, and what it'll do is it'll kind of act as a text insta-mash. So as long as I'm holding a menu button, which is C or Control in the default controls, and it takes time to set the controls in the game, so you really just gotta play with the default ones, it will go through text almost as fast as possible. It's actually still not the fastest text can go, so when going through text, I'm still going to be mashing Z and Enter on top of holding down C is the button I use. It's gonna save only a few seconds, like maybe 1 or 2, to hold down, or to be mashing while holding down C, but it's still a minor amount of time. And here we're going to get chased by this guy. So these spades are going to be falling from the top of the screen. We want to avoid these if we get hit. It doesn't kill our run speed, which is not something I mentioned, I'll mention that, but it does pause us for a little bit, so we don't want to get hit, because it'll save a little bit of time. It will always lose a little bit of time if we do get hit. Speaking of run speed, though, you might notice I've been running a bit, and I've been doing some weird things where I'm not probably using diagonals as much as you'd think they could be used. That's because in this game, it actually has a momentum-based run feature, where if you are running for a longer period of time, you'll kind of gain speed. And there's a few different speed levels you have. Dependent on how long you've been able to run without bumping into something or stopping. I basically, if I'm not using a diagonal, even if it looks fast, it's because I want to keep my speed easier, and it's easier to do than using a diagonal. Diagonals are obviously still good for movement, but again, speed preservation is more important, because a bonk into a wall and it's going to be very hard to run, which is going to make something later in the run a lot harder. For now, though, it's not too important. Right now, we have the first fight of the game. We have Lancer. Two things about Lancer. So, the battle system in this game, when I'm fighting an opponent, you see a bar move across the screen, and I want to time the bar hit perfectly. If I time it perfectly, I'll get a critical. which is a lot of extra damage. If I get all 3 criticals on this fight against Lancer, I can actually do the fight in 3 turns. Unfortunately, I missed the last critical, so it has to take 4. But if I get 2 criticals and miss the 3rd, I can actually defend, and I won't have to watch the little attack bar animation. So I could still save a little bit of a time off of a normal 4 turn. And with that, that's the fight against Lancer. Susie's gonna leave, and we're gonna get Ralsei. And with Ralsei, we can now leave the castle town. Ralsei is gonna ask us if we want to do a tutorial here. I'm gonna say no, because that would be slower to do the tutorial. And then this dialogue option, I just am gonna hold to the right because I'm already moving to the right. And that's gonna be the end of the castle town. So coming up into the fields. The fields is where the run really becomes the Deltarune run, as opposed to, like, the intro to one. The fields is going to introduce us to our first encounter. Unlike Undertale, encounters work where you see them on the overworld like this, and then you have to, you know, run into them to fight them. 2 differences between this game and Undertale that make the fighting a lot more dangerous is that, one, as you can see, encounters are on the overworld, and so we can run right past them and not have to deal with them. So they're skippable, which is good, because that means fighting less stuff, and that takes time. However, this game doesn't have a run button. So if I miss an encounter skip, I have to go through that encounter, and if I don't know how to fight an enemy, then that's not good. Here's the fight against the Happy, or the triple Happy. For the turn 1, I need to do an act to get all of them to be spareable. And then I'm going to end the turn by running into them at the end, so I don't have to watch a cutscene about why I'm not taking damage, because I was taking damage. Then on turn 2, I only spare one of them, so that they do the attack that normally happens when there's more than one of them still alive. The reason I do that is because, as you saw, I could stand next to them and grind, like, tension points, which is, like, what you can use for magic spells. However, some attacks, including that one, if you're grinding tension points like that, the more you're closer to the enemy and get that effect, where you get the magic, the attack will last shorter. So with that attack, that's the case where you can just grind TP off of moving bullets and make the attack last no time at all, as compared to the attack that they do well solo. Here, it would technically save a little bit of time to defend and let Susie kill that. Susie has an attack, a kind of gimmick where she'll only attack, so if you want to spare an enemy, you have to warn the enemies that Susie's going to attack. But if you defend there, not only do you still have to watch Susie's attack animation, but then you get a text box from Ralsei talking about how attacking is bad. But if we make Ralsei attack, then it doesn't really matter. Coming up in this fight against Jigsawry, I'm going to mess up the command immediately. I wanted both of them to defend here because Susie can one turn take out these enemies. Also, you might notice I'm taking damage here whenever Susie is the target. That's going to be important for something at a later part of the game. But yeah, Susie will always attack the top enemy in a row of enemies. So there, I'm going to have Susie take out the top, Chris and Ralsei take out the middle, and Susie take out the bottom. Coming up here, we're going to enter the next area soon. I just have one more encounter skip where I'm going to stall. Instead of stalling by standing completely still, I'm actually going to stall by running back and forth. That way I can keep building up run speed so that when that Rudin was in a good position, I was able to get the skip easy. This is the checkerboard. The checkerboard has 2 screens in particular that are very troubling. The first one I just did perfectly. There are 2 screens that have that little enemy that you saw chasing me. Those are the pawn men. Pawn men are difficult because you can miss, like, you can only bonk, like, once. And you can have the ability to get into an encounter here. And they're very annoying encounters, so you definitely don't want to have to deal with them. And hopefully I won't have to deal with either of them. Here we get to choose our team name, and I'm sorry for those of you who have played this if you like some of the other team names, but the fastest one to choose here is the Lancer Fun Club. This room, for some reason, you can just walk straight forward, and it works, I guess. And then this is the last of the Pawn Man rooms. I had a bonk early on in this one and a little bit further in, but we still got it. That one, I feel like, is easier than the second one, or the first one. That one's definitely easier than the first one, in my opinion. However, it's kind of a scarier looking one. I don't necessarily know how that works, but trust me on this. So getting up, we have this checker guy. He's going to get the super crown. He's going to get a crown here and evolve into K-Round. K-Round is a mini-boss. So what I'm going to do with K-Round is I'm going to hope he attacks Susie. Which he did. First turn. Fantastic. And I'm going to get Susie to die here. K-Round is too powerful to be killed, and he also has healing that does more damage than Susie can do in between healing. So what I want to see here is I actually want to see Susie die. Because this is a boss fight where Susie's still in the point of the game where she'll instantly attack everything. And Susie dying not only skips an attack where he'll heal himself, which has a very long animation, but it also skips me having to watch her attack K-Round after every single turn. And that just saves time. It's a 1 in 3 chance. K-Round doesn't have the ability to attack multiple party members at the same time. That's only like a major boss thing, I believe. So, it's a 1 in 3 chance that K-Round will attack Susie on any given turn. Fun fact, if Susie's still alive on turn 3, where he uses his first healing item, he can actually target someone with the healing item. And so, Susie can be targeted with the healing item. Alright, I messed something here. I have not messed up in a very long time. So Rabbiks, what you're supposed to do with them is you're supposed to juke them out. You're supposed to, like, turn to the left as they spawn for a little bit, and then run back to the right. It's the way of baiting them out so that you don't have to fight them without losing your run speed. There we go. It's supposed to look like that. I've actually, like, never messed up that one in the run, but fortunately, I know what to do as a backup in case I mess it up. Here, there's a funny little clip I can do. Because hitboxes are bad, sometimes you can walk right past that little bar that I got hit by. That puzzle's pretty easy. These puzzles you just learn to do by playing the game and memorizing what to do, instead of using, like, the actual hints given to you. Like this one right here, you're supposed to talk to these 3 heads and they tell you how to do the puzzle, but it's not a random puzzle. So you go up here and you get into a fight with Clover, who's like a little mini-boss. For some reason, Ralze's manual. So, Ralze gave us a manual when we skipped the tutorial. And for some reason, if you use it on this guy twice, it makes him spareable within 2 turns, and that's the fastest way to do that fight. Like, sparing him normally takes longer, and even fighting him takes like 3 turns. I messed up a skip here. That I'm calling bull on the game for me messing up, called blocks or skip, where I would have to skip this encounter. So another thing I have to do is I have to adjust for missing this skip, and put this guy together quickly. So you're supposed to rearrange this guy to spare him like that, and like, you can actually get really good at rearranging it if you want to, I messed that skip up, so I messed it up enough times to know how to, like, rearrange those guys really fast. But this force has just been a thing, I guess. Here we're gonna make a machine to kick our butts. I'm not gonna say the real name, that's offensive. Don't mind the fact that I accidentally swore yesterday. It's fine. So we're just gonna make the fastest machine possible by selecting the first option. You can create a duck, and I have created a duck during a tournament race. But that is a meme. Coming up, we have this room with this bird. I'm actually on incredibly low health right now because of a damage boost route that I take. So if I had gotten hit by that bird, I would have died. But fortunately, I know how to do that room consistently to not get hit. I just have to not bonk, and that's not a hard place to not bonk. Coming up here, we're going to have the forest maze. Lancer does not know where they're going, so I'm going to be going wherever Lancer does not go, and that'll be the right way through. Same thing with Susie. Susie also does not know where to go. So, we're not going to follow Susie either. This blocks her. If I had skipped the first one, it actually would have been more aggressive, and I would have had to do a setup to get past that one. However, if I miss the first skip, I can just walk past that guy for free. Interacting with a save point, you don't even have to save. Just interacting with a save point will heal you to full health. So I like to use that save point before this boss fight. We're going to have a fight with Susie and Lancer. The strategy here is that I have to convince Lancer that we don't have to fight and be evil. However, Susie, what will happen is when we're at the point where Susie would, where Lancer would end the fight, Susie's gonna plug his ears so he can't hear us. So at this turn, we're actually gonna make Susie fall asleep. I could have done this a turn later. If I made Susie fall asleep a turn earlier, she wouldn't still be asleep for the turn where I need her to be asleep. But watching combo Susie Lancer attacks are way longer than watching just solo Lancer attacks. So, that's why we put Susie asleep when we did. And that is the end of the Forest Maze area. Now we're going to have our way to Card Castle, which is kind of our final destination. They unplugged the fountain to unleash darkness on the world, and we're here to plug it back in so that the light and darkness are equal. A lot of cutscene here. This is kind of a character development part of the game, where we get insight to the friendship between Susie and Lancer. There's a lot of hair in my face that I can't get out. But eventually we'll actually see the castle itself. And, Lancer's gonna get concerned because story character stuff and run away. We're gonna give chase, or Susie's gonna give chase to Lancer. Ralsei's gonna give chase to Susie, and we're gonna give chase to Ralsei, I guess. However, as soon as we're alone, we get ambushed by these guys, so we have to do this again. Hitboxes are great in this game. This screen is easy. They are going to just fire on one side of the screen, so I have to just dodge accordingly. Again, taking damage is bad because it pauses me for the damage animation a little bit. You saw it at the beginning, because I took like a ton of damage at the beginning portion. So here in the cell, what we need to do is we need to interact with like 3 things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up that I'm going to interact with the crack in the wall twice and then pick up the shackle. The crack in the wall is the quickest thing to interact to, but I want to pick up the shackle because I can equip it to deal more damage with Susie. And that's one thing we're going to need. There's going to be another damage item we can get for the final boss, but that one is also going to be helpful. There's also a place sooner that I can equip it, and it will help me, if I mess up a skip, it will help me make the fight that I tried to skip a little bit faster. Not faster, because you can still do it in the amount of turns I'm going to try to do it with, but a little bit safer. I actually usually don't go for that safe strat, though, so... Coming up here, we're going to have another cutscene. This battle is actually basically a cutscene. Like I said, I meant to say battle instead of cutscene, but this battle is a cutscene. Battle cutscene, battle cutscene, battle cutscene, battle scene, cut battle, cuddle, bat scene. I like bats. This is the character development part of the game, by the way. One thing I'm going to try and do during this part, though, is get TP, because getting more TP can end attacks faster. And although I don't think that's an effect on this thing, from what I've been told, actually getting max TP bar on this fight, which as you can see, Susie's attacks also help get the TP bar up. Apparently getting a max TP bar does make this fight go faster. I don't know if that's actually true, but people have said it to me. So I'm gonna try. And it's a good thing that Susie's attacks actually up the TP bar, because after 3 turns, Lancer's bullets kind of get like the Toriel effect, where he doesn't want to hurt you, so he's gonna make his like... He's gonna make his attacks repel away from you. Susie's just gonna keep beating him up, though, because game. Yeah, we did it. Max TP bar. Alright, that was a good segment. Don't ask how I knew it was a good segment. It was a cutscene. But it was a good segment. So here we're gonna just have more cutscene where they're gonna you know, use their brains for a second here. And here's Susie. So now we're gonna start our climb through Card Castle. We're gonna have another cutscene in this elevator. This is still the story part of the game. It's coming to an end. We're getting to the point where we're gonna get to some gameplay. We're gonna get to some new characters. We're gonna get to some puzzles. We're gonna get to some skips. It's gonna be great. But we just have an elevator ride to go. A very long elevator considering we're going like from a basement to the first floor. But yeah. Susie, this is the point in the game where Susie has a realization, and from now on she's going to be a part of our party, but she's not going to only be attacking. She's going to like actually be a usable party member. So that's good. What I'm gonna do down here is I'm gonna get that enemy to stop being mad at me by leaving the screen and then coming back when he's at a position like that to get stuck on the wall. I also equipped the shackle that I got into prison now because I mentioned I usually don't do a safe strat that I decided I should probably do. So I'm gonna do it. Of course, that'll waste time if I get the skip in question, but I've never gotten the skip in question. This is Rule's card. He's making mac and cheese and nobody can stop him. He thinks he's the puzzle master. He makes very easy puzzles, just like pushing a box. So this is the skip in question. This is Head Hathy skip. This is a Head Hathy. It's an enemy. You can make it to that door if you're very fast, and it's a very difficult thing to do. But I didn't get it, so you're gonna watch me battle these guys. With the shackle, as long as I get at least one critical hit, I should still get a 2-turn fight. Yeah, there we go. So that guy runs away in 2 turns. So it was a good thing I equipped the shackle when I did, because I did save a little bit of time off of it. That sound you're hearing, for some reason, you can interact with those spinning ballerinas that damage you. I don't know why, but they make a sound. And I like doing it. It's fun. Alright, so now Rule's card is going to run away once again. He's going to run a shop for us, which is nice, because in the shop we can buy a Brave Axe, which we're going to equip onto Susie. No, equip it, like, right there. So, yeah, now we've upped the items that we have on Susie, ups her attack 3, which is good. That's a lot of attack up. And now we're going to get into the fight, or the rematched fight against K-Round. And with Susie fighting K-Round, we have a better idea. We're going to throw Rose at the crown to try and loosen it. That's what we were doing in the first fight, by the way. We were bowing to try and loosen the crown. This time, we're just going to throw Rose at the crown. And it actually works. Compared to the 5 turns you need to do a bow for on turn 1 on the first fight in order to knock this crown off, you only need to get direct hits on the crown 3 times. You can miss the crown and either miss K-Round entirely or just bump into his checker face, in which case it doesn't do as much to not loosen the crown. So you want to get 3 direct hits on the crown, but it's still a fast fight. And coming up, we're going to have the final fight of the run. We're gonna have the king, who is Lancer's dad, and is not willing to negotiate for peace with us, which is kind of rude, but we'll deal with it. So we have a bit of a cutscene to mash through here. Basically, stuff's gonna happen, and then more stuff's gonna happen. And he has a stomach mouth. I don't like him, so we're going to beat him up. So starting off, that was awful. I got 0 critical hits, and I have no sense of time. I should mention, that's something you need to run this game, and something I don't have, a sense of time. I also don't have skill in dodging attacks in video games, which is another something that you need, because you don't want anyone to die. The fastest strategy here is to kill him, instead of just, like, trying to spare him. So I'm using a slower strategy, where I'm using Susie's magic spell, the Rude Buster. There is a different magic spell you can use that is a little bit of a faster strategy, but it requires you to be more specific on your use of critical hits, which, as you can see, I'm hitting none of. I'm still also very nervous, though, because I've already gotten Chris down to very low health, and I don't want Chris to die. So based on the fight I'm having right now, I want it to take 10 turns with the strat I'm doing. But based on how I'm playing, I'm guessing it's probably going to take 9 instead. Because this is just... Or not 9, what? No. Based on the fight I'm having, I'm predicting it's going to take 11. Because this fight is just horrible. And I also don't know how to count. Also, we don't have a lot of time left to do the Javelin incentive, so if you guys want to see that, donate right now. And I mean, like, right now. I'm starting to get more criticals on him to the point where I think I might be able to salvage out the 10 turn if I keep getting good criticals on him.
Yes, so for reference, we are still $45 away from the $70 incentive for the Pacifist Jebel fight, so if you want to see that fight and you have really quick fingers, go ahead and click the donate link that is going to be in chat very shortly.
Well, fortunately for y'all that want to see it, I messed up the 10-turn king kill, so you have a little bit more time. There we go. So yeah, we just have like a few minutes of cutscene stuff, and then the end of the game. So you have a few minutes during these cutscenes to get your donations in. In this cutscene, though, we're going to see a lot of stuff happen. It's kind of a wild ride when you're skipping everything and don't have the context. The king is going to pretend to be hurt. We're going to heal him because Rose is too pure for this world and also a fool. Alright. The king's going to stand up. He's going to hurt Susie. We're going to defend Susie. We're going to get owned. We're going to get double owned. He's going to walk over to us, except shuffle, because walking animations. He's going to pick us up. He's going to repeat a Susie line to us that we skipped by skipping the prologue. Susie's going to be mad. Susie's going to use a magic spell that puts tired enemies to sleep. We're going to be okay. And now... we just have more cutscene where Lancer tried to get the people to revolt against the king. However, since we didn't spare every enemy and we did kill some stuff, it's not working. So we're just gonna get out of here with Rose taking his hat off to waste more of our time. And then we're going to walk up to this fountain. At this fountain, we're going to be like, hey, that's a shiny fountain. And then we're going to seal the fountain to bring back the balance of light and dark. The shadows look funny. But we're going to have a cutscene soon. We're going to be sent back to the light world. There we go. So, as a bit of context for the stuff we skipped, this is the closet that we went into to find chalk because Alphys ran out. Susie tried to murder me because we found out that we didn't have chalk because she ate it. Toriel is going to call us and be like, get home. And we're going to get home. Since this run is a meme now, I'm going to give you one treat. There's Sans. Goodbye. Alright, but get ready on time, because time's going to be when we go back to bed. And time.
Alright, I was a little slow on starting it. Sorry, I had a cat that was trying to jump on my lap and mess with things. But
No
we've
problem.
got
Cats are better.
It's probably a 28.25, I'm guessing.
Okay, you know what? I'll take that. My PB's 27.46. So considering some of the things that went wrong in this run, I'll take a mid 28.
Yeah, it was a fantastic run. Thank you so much for running it.
Do we not have Jebel?
It is looking like we do not have Jevil.
Dang.
Well, regardless, thank you so much for hanging out with us and doing all the runs that you did during this marathon. I think this was your last run for the marathon, correct?
Yeah, it is. My last of 5. I think it was a good way to end off because, you know, I had some good runs. I had some really shaky runs. But this is a game that I just enjoy showing off because it's a really charming game. Toby Fox does that. It's really charming and it's really just happy to see. So, thanks for having me for all of the runs.
Thanks for being here.